We've covered in a previous what if what could happen if Ahsoka had killed her former master, Anakin Skywalker, during their duel on the world of Malachor. Starting today, we'll take a look at a different outcome. What if Ahsoka Tano turned Vader back to the light side of the Force? Ahsoka Tano, once a promising Jedi, is now a prominent figure in a brewing rebellion. Her path has brought her to the ancient world of Malachor, alongside fellow Jedi Kanan Jarrus and his Padawan learner, Ezra Bridger. The latter bringing along an unlikely ally, but someone who Tano knows all too well, Maul. After the quartet discovered they weren't alone on the world, chaos took place. Ezra found himself dueling Darth Vader, the powerful apprentice to the Emperor, and the former master of Ahsoka Tano. She soon found herself staring down the Dark Lord, arriving just moments before Vader executed a possible lethal blow to the young Jedi. She was frozen momentarily. It was her old master, Anakin Skywalker. However, he looked nothing like he had some years ago. His entire body was capsuled inside a dark suit, which shook Tano to her core. She had always wondered during her time of exile what happened to Anakin, but she would have never imagined this. Vader then turned to her, his breathing sending chills as he spoke.
"It was foretold that you would be here. Our long-awaited meeting has come at last."
It startled Ahsoka, as it seemed Vader himself wanted to see her. She threw this thought away quickly, responding that she was glad to give him something to look forward to. Vader then deactivated his lightsaber, and for a moment seemed as though he had resentments towards fighting the apprentice of Anakin Skywalker.
"We need not be adversaries. The Emperor will show you mercy if you tell him where the remaining Jedi can be found."
Ahsoka knew there was going to be a catch to this, and even though the Jedi Order was something she didn't associate herself with much, she was going to protect one of the only hopes the galaxy had left. She protested, saying there was no more Jedi, that Vader and his Inquisitors had killed them all, and she was hoping this was a lie, as she didn't know any of the surviving Jedi except the one that stood before her, but it seemed as though he was far too gone. Vader then alluded to Ezra, who was still frozen in fear, mere inches away from his feet.
"Perhaps this child will confess what you will not."
Ezra backed away with what courage he could muster, but it was barely enough to quell the fear that overcame him. Ahsoka was disgusted at how vile Vader had become. She remarked how her master could have never done anything like this. The Dark Lord was none too pleased to hear that name. He reminded Tano that Anakin Skywalker was weak and that he destroyed him. Ahsoka then promised revenge for her master. Vader tried to remind her about her old Jedi morals, but she was quick to tell him that she was no Jedi. A duel broke out between the pair that was fierce as the young Ezra Bridger went to tend to his injured master. Ahsoka couldn't help but feel the pain that Vader felt inside, but something told her that Anakin was still somewhere within him. This thought served as a distraction, which resulted in Vader dispatching of her momentarily, sending her off the cliff of the Sith Malachor Temple. He turned his attention back to the Jedi and the Sith holocron that they now possessed, and Ahsoka used this as a moment to land a critical strike. She lunged into the air, landing on Vader to slice at his mask. Sparks shot out as both fell to the ground. As she regathered herself, she heard a voice that almost floored her again. It was the voice of Anakin, and he was calling her name. Her mind raced back to the day she left the Jedi Order, and Anakin begging her to stay. He sounded just as he did that very day, but looked the exact opposite. Ahsoka couldn't help but feel guilty, and affirmed to her master that she wouldn't leave Anakin, not this time. Through the opening in his helmet, Vader stood silent as his yellow eyes pierced through Ahsoka. She then decided to remind her former master of everyone who cared about him, from former friends to Padme Amidala. This is what froze the Sith Lord. Ahsoka had not known how deep the relationship of Anakin and Ahsoka truly was, but hearing her name brought back memories, some of which included the woman that was standing before him. He glanced at Ahsoka once more, calling her name as the yellow tint faded from his eyes. The moment between the two was almost heartbreaking. Ahsoka couldn't hold back a tear as her master approached. The two embraced, but the temple around them started to become unstable. The removal of that Sith holocron created a storm of lightning within the temple, and the floor started to crumble. Tano looked around to see the temple walls closing, and she motioned to Anakin to come with her to escape, but the floor was collapsing too rapidly for him to make it. Suddenly, he lunged forward, pushing Ahsoka towards the opening. She turned to see Anakin being submerged within the collapsing temple. Tano was now alone on his ancient Sith world as Ezra and Kanan had already left, with no idea on what to do next. She found solace in the fact that Anakin Skywalker saved her in what appeared to be her final moments. As she ventured within the halls of an old temple on the world, Anakin emerged from the wreckage of that temple and went to find his former apprentice. This is what would happen if Ahsoka Tano turned Vader back to the light. Now, there are so many possibilities that can happen with this idea, and I know that you guys have some great ones, so be sure to put those in the comment section. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to click that like button and subscribe for more content in the future just like this. Until the next time, may the force of others be with you.